So, how do we cultivate inner awareness? Oh, you know what my answer is going to be. A couple years ago, and I'm open about talking about this. A couple years ago, I can't believe it's going to be 2 years already. When I discovered that I was living with a secret drug addict, and it did traumatize me. It broke my heart. It traumatized me. It put me in panic mode. It put me in fear mode. And I did everything I could to get out of my head. But meanwhile, in my head, I was ruminating about what happened. Oh my God, my friend's an addict. My friend's an addict. My friend's an addict. And just ruminating. And it hurt and it was uncomfortable. And I would do everything I can not to think those thoughts or not to, feel the heartbreak or feel that the grief, all that overwhelming stuff that was um, happening at that time, emotionally and spiritually. I don't know how many of you remember, but I stopped working for like 2 months, I think. I didn't take clients, I didn't do shows. I was like, I need to take a break and take care of me. And then finally, one day, someone that I'm working with said, I want you to sit in your body. And I've done it before. I knew this. I knew this from when I was trained back in the 90s. I knew this. Sit in your body. How do you cultivate inner awareness? Sit in your body. Just sit in the chair. Don't lay on your bed because you're going to fall asleep. Sit in a chair. Turn everything off and just sit. Feel your legs. Feel your chest. Is it tight? Maybe you're having anxiety. Feel the sensations of your blood. Feel the sensations of what you're hearing around you. And most of all, let the thoughts happen. Let the feelings happen. If it's fear, let the fear be fear. If it's sadness, let the sadness be sadness. If it's joy, let the joy be joy. The secret is not to control what you're feeling. A lot of times, um, we think, and this is the thing where we get tripped up on, is that we think that being spiritual and being a good meditator or a good witch or a good magician is to be able, and I did the same thing and I say it all the time, is that we can alter our state of consciousness at will. And that means I can direct my thoughts in any direction, which is great, but there's a time and a place for that. It's not 24/7. You do not need to be on guard of every thought. You don't need to be on guard of every emotion 24/7. And in order for us to cultivate that inner awareness, it is important for us to sit in our body. Something really amazing happened. And again, this was probably last summer, not last summer, the summer before, uh, the summer after all that nonsense happened with my friend. And I don't mean to downplay it by calling it nonsense. It was very serious. But um, after maybe 5 years of never acknowledging my pain, because I guess somewhere I knew something was going on, I didn't want to admit it. I just started coming out and bawling, and it came out of nowhere. I hadn't cried in years, years. I was so busy. I kept myself so busy. I didn't even have time to cry. I was like, oh no, I don't have time right now. I got to do it later. And then what happens? Something else comes up and you forget to do it. So to cultivate inner awareness, we have to sit in our body. We must allow whatever is happening to happen. We must allow, no matter how scary it is, no matter how comfortable it is, to flow with freedom. There's that saying, that which we resist persists. So something, what's the common thing? When we feel something icky starting to come up, we're like, oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to talk about that. Oh, no, no, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel like this. But if we don't, it's just going to get buried and it's going to come up at another time. There's some things that maybe you need to be with a professional to do. And when I say professional, I mean, a therapist, maybe not a psychiatrist, but a therapist, maybe a shamanic practitioner, maybe a spiritual counselor, whatever it is. Maybe you need to have somebody who can walk you through it if it's big, big stuff, but the little stuff. the little day-to-day frustrations that we've been burying, the little um, problems that we've been ignoring, we must allow them to bubble to the surface. It's going to be uncomfortable. But something happened to me that one day that I said to myself, I'm like, I can sit in this uncomfortableness. And why can I sit in this uncomfortableness? Because it is not permanent. What happened? I remembered nothing's permanent. Everything is impermanent. The law of impermanence, the Buddhist law of impermanence. We forget about that. We forget that feeling of discomfort is not forever. So if we want to cultivate inner awareness, we have to begin a dialogue. And that's what this all comes down to. Beginning that dialogue with our inner self, allowing the inner self to come up, speak to us, to be a part of our lives instead of telling it to shut up because I got to go pick up the kids, or shut up because I got to get to work, or shut up because it makes me feel uncomfortable. We must allow that dialogue to begin to happen. And that's the only way that we're going to heal. And that's the only way. And actually, I think I'm going to move on to the next question because it has to do with mental health. And I'm going to go on because it kind of goes with what we're talking about here. Um, so the question was, I wasn't going to do this one yet. This is like at the bottom of the list, but let me do it. How is mental health a part of spiritual enlightenment? That's a great question. How is mental health a part of spiritual enlightenment? You know, if we don't, when it comes to magic, when it comes to alchemy, when it comes to witchcraft, when it comes to manifestation, whatever terminology you want to use, if we do not have the ability to still the pond, calm it down, if we do not have the ability to sit in silence, if we do not have the ability to nurture that peace, to nurture that silence, our efforts will be for naught.